Wanting to take a trade and rushing into something normally leads to taking poor quality setups and over trading and taking big losses. Now, I caught myself today after the first loss. I knew I had to get off the desk soon, so I stepped away, knowing that I was feeling more antsy and wanting to trade rather than letting the trades come to me. So let's take a look at it first so you can see how to survive. The first trade was at 9:50 in the morning. Not bad at all. Definitely a bearish open with lower highs and lower lows below New York. Arguably, definitely could have waited for a stronger hold of New York VWAP, right? But I saw these pins and it was starting to curl back under. I didn't want to miss the move for a new lower day. So we could say a little bit of FOMO there for sure because we're on stream. Austin's already short. A few other people are also short. I don't want to let this go by without me because I am bearish biased. So maybe I bend my rules or I let myself get into something without being super picky. But again, don't hate the trade. I love the stop loss at high of day. If it breaks for a new high of day, I wouldn't want to be short from here. You can also see if you zoom in on this VWAP, there's no real strong break of it. So sellers weren't 100% in there. Sellers don't take it there. So maybe it wasn't even telling me to short it yet to my specific plan, but it did break the open range low. I'm looking to go get that second break. It just didn't happen. But after that is what leads to what could have been an ugly day, right? So my loss is over here at the open. We're looking at the electronic trading hours just so we could play with the VWAPs above us. So you could see why I was also short bias. Let's go on the 15-minute. It's a lot more clearer. We have the start of week view up on and a previous day's New York. So all those longs at the open that stopped us out are right in here, stopping me out. Now it goes a little bit higher for sure. It might even stop me higher up here. But there's view ups above us of this previous day's New York and start of week, not really pointing that we're going to be bullish today. And notice how since yesterday's trading session, the high was at 10:30 in the morning up here where it just fizzled the rest of the day. So since then, there's been no buyers really in control. It's still just falling. That I don't know if I'm really a buyer until we break above these VWAPs. So I don't want to trade into them for longs. So the fact that we were closing below the daily VWAP at the open, yeah, I was looking to go get a short because if I see this lower high, lower high, lower high, and we go make that next lower low on my trade that I took, I'd want to be in that short. So that's the losing short there, right? But now let's go back to the 1 minute and you'll see doesn't really mean that the longs were really in play. Because when we get stopped out, it makes a new high a day, but right into these VWAPs. It pulls back to New York. I like this hold of New York, another hold of New York VWAP. Let's throw in a high of day VWAP. What do we see there? If we take a high of day VWAP break, let's make that purple. I know we got a lot of VWAPs stacked on top of each other, but bear with me. So let's say buyers step back in. Stop loss below structure, not current structure, previous structure. So not right here, a current structure. Throw it to the pins to the left to give yourself a little bit more space. And it does hold a little bit, but it does not run for a nice 1R winner. Because you're just trading right into those VWAPs, which is why I was trading short away from them. So there's really no bullish trend, but there's no bearish structure either. So you're not really seeing your ideal conditions to sell it because we're not seeing lower highs and lower lows. That's what I need in order to sell it, which is what I was following here. Lower highs and lower lows. Let's go make the next lower low, right? This isn't my buying condition structure, so I can live with it. But we don't really get clean longs unless someone scalped it like right off of New York to the VWAPs really quick, something like that. But to my edge, to my plan, nothing really too hot. But like I was saying, I was going golfing in the afternoon. I'm moving in a couple days, so I have to get off the desk soon to go spend time with some friends and family and then pack up the rest of my stuff. So I take the loss. Now I think it was somewhere in and around here. Yeah. I was thinking about potentially longs because I got stopped out in my short. I see these higher highs. Higher low, does this want to go higher? But I'm also thinking to myself, maybe the shorts, because look at that 15-minute. Maybe you weren't wrong on the shorts. But again, this isn't my structure for short selling because it's still making higher lows. So catching myself of, I'm really just wanting to trade. I'm wanting to get back in to make back that loss as quickly as I can because I know I need to leave soon. Where if I had the whole day in front of me to stare at the charts, not that I would ever suggest that, but maybe if I could take a break, come back later, I could always find another setup to make back that loss. But I wasn't giving myself that time. I didn't have that time. So I caught myself wanting to take a trade and like force it to be ready rather than the market telling me when the market's ready. If we want to go short here because it's breaking lower day view up. Okay, cool. I'll get in short. I was telling the market what to do and when to do it. And that's never going to lead to nice winners. It's going to lead to forcing things just because you want to take a trade rather than it's telling you to take this trade right now, right? Because my plan would be wait for a break above if you want to long it because we know this could act as resistance. And it's exactly what it did. Just couldn't get above those VWAPs. So I can't sell it up here either. But you can see new information. Give me a new high, give me a new low. Get me out of this range below these VWAPs, and we get a new low a day. So there's some new information. Now it's kind of forming that bearish structure that I'm saying I need to see, because there's our lower low. Here's a small lower high, another lower low. I like this one probably better. Again, I didn't see any of these in real time, but that's a small little pullback here. Not the end of the world, not the worst one. But if we see this drop, anchor a lower day view up to there, and then when sellers step back in, you can see we get a nice retest back to the open range low, initial bounce low, still making these lower highs. Sellers are back in. It's in line with the 15-minute now, which is what I was selling in the morning. And I made plenty of videos about how I use that 15-minute in line with this 1 minute. Now everything's in agreement. I'm below all VWAPs, the daily, today's New York, the start of week VWAP, previous day's New York VWAP, and even today's lower day VWAP. So everything is now lining up for shorts, more so, or if not equal to what it was at my earlier short at the New York Open. So sellers step back in, stop loss, not at current structure. I want to give it some space to previous structure back here, and it gets a nice little 2-hour winner. So it takes a lot of time. I would have had to wait till 1:30, 1:40 to get into this trade, but I'm sometimes trading at 1:40 for sure. If I take a lunch break, I do coaching calls, I'll come back later. But I didn't have that time today, so I wouldn't have taken this anyways. But the more important thing is not rushing into things, of taking a healthy loss here at the open and then chasing along because I want to make my money back. And I don't like these VWAPs above me, but I don't care. I need to be in a trade to make it back. No, you don't. You're not going to find all the trades today because you don't have all the time at the desk today. Boo-hoo. You can't win them all. You can't always be at the desk to catch all of every move anyways, because I think it was, go back to the month of all of this month. The biggest thing is just limiting the size of those red days. So I had a red day because it was very short time frame of trading, of taking the loss. I had to get away. But if I kept on trading, or if I forced that second and third trade because I just wanted to take something, well, then maybe that day is $2,000. Let's just say I take 2 more losses, I'm down $1,800. Not the end of the world. I made $1,200 on Friday, 1.7 on last Wednesday. But overall, I don't want to take an $1,800 paper cut when it could be $600. End the bleeding there. I'm still up on the week. That if I find a winning trade the next day, I'm back in the green. I'm even more green on the week. We're still green on the month. Just keeping the higher time frame in terms of the month and the week in the forefront of your brain, that it's not about today. My job is just not to lose a lot of money today. I'm already red. If I could just make sure I don't let this bleed into a big day, I'll be fine. Because look what happens on the 4th to start the month, $500. We could easily get that back unless we do some stupid stuff and keep on trading, break our rules. And that's also why the great thing about the top 1 futures, if you have a max daily loss in place, I shouldn't have any big red days because it's physically impossible. When you go to your risk settings on Project X, which I've made a video about, lock yourself out. Lock the risk settings. So if you go 0 for 2 or you go 0 for 3 on the day, you're done. Don't overtrade. It's not going to allow you to overtrade. And that way you stay in the game longer, right? If I had an $1,800 loss yesterday, I'd be down only $800 on the week. Could I make that back? Sure. But today I could easily make that back, plus some, and be even more green on Thursday, which is a bank holiday, so not this week. But in general, just 1 step backwards, 2 steps forwards. Can't be doing 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward, because our big red days are holding us back, right? So just knowing that, yeah, I took the loss. Yeah, it sucks I can't try to make it back or wait for my plan to present, but it's just 1 day. If I could just leave it at $600, come back tomorrow, I can make $600 and we'll be right back in the game. But if I do something stupid, I'll be even more pissed off at golf and not enjoy my round, and who wants to do that? And then also, I'm going to have to spend the next 2 days, 3 days trying to dig it back. But also, this is a good example for this week. I don't have 2-3 days. It's a bank holiday on Thursday. I'm off on Friday. I only have Wednesday. So if I had a big red day, I couldn't even make it all back on Wednesday. I'm going to guarantee almost a red week because it's cut short. So hopefully you guys found value in it. If you ever catch yourself wanting to take a trade, it takes a lot of self-awareness, one. But even if you're self-aware of it, it takes a lot of discipline to listen to yourself of like, I know how I'm feeling. But a lot of people just don't care how they're feeling. They're going to act anyways. So it was one to say, the ideas I just spit out in my head, I was like, that's not really a good setup. I think you're trying to force things here. You're trying to think too much and say, what can I do here? What can I do? Please give me a setup. It's not set off frantically like that, but I was thinking maybe I long it there, but what if I short it here? But that's not really my selling setup. So I would have taken losses no matter what I tried to really do, that there was nothing really presenting there. There's VWAPs in my way. I have a higher time frame bias that's bearish. This 1 minute looks bullish, but there's VWAPs in my way. There's nothing to do. Wait for new information, wait for your edge to align, and if not, get off the desk. So it saved me some money today. It's going to save me money in the long run of catching myself. It's not telling me to take this trade. I'm just wanting to take a trade. And that's the biggest difference that you can notice on yourself of, yeah, I took that trade because it told me to. Not because I took that trade because I wanted to see it go lower and I wanted to make money and I thought it would go lower just because. No, it was telling me this looks like a really good setup. You got to be involved. And it wasn't presenting to my time. So we get off the desk, we come back the next day. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check out the top one sale. These were all of my accounts. Like I was saying, all the top one on the Project X, putting in that max daily loss is huge, right? I stepped off the desk. But let's imagine I even did stay on the desk and kept on trading. I wouldn't have had a big red day relative because I would have had the max daily loss set in place, cut out my trading, survive till tomorrow. So make sure you guys check them out and implement that as well into your trading to keep yourself alive. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.